We want to pivot now and bring you some live remarks from Vice President Harris. Let's listen.
That I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not. That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Have you spoken to him about his comments and his intentions?
He did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
Are you concerned about what impact this may have on voters, on the divisiveness of the election, and whether or not it's going to dissuade some people from supporting you because of your affiliation with the president and this administration?
I've been very clear with the American public. I respect the challenges that people face. I respect the fact that we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and that most people want a president that understands that gets that, and approaches their role of leadership that way. I've been very clear from my earliest years as a prosecutor. I never asked anyone, are they a Democrat or Republican? The only thing I ask folks is, are you okay? And that's the kind of president I will be.
And what did you talk about with the president?
Madam Vice President, on a separate subject, last night you mentioned removing people in the country who are here illegally. What do you mean? That's an immigration statement, obviously. Were you referring to people who have come here before illegally, or can you expand on what you meant by that comment?
What I intend to do on the issue of immigration, as I said last night and have said continuously, is we need to fix our broken immigration system in a number of ways. We need to strengthen the border and put more resources at the border, which is why I support the bipartisan bill that Donald Trump killed that would have otherwise put 1,500 more border agents at the border, put more resources into prosecuting transnational crime, and would very importantly put more resources into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing people around the country. And when I am elected president, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. I also have done the work and in my policy going forward will strengthen what we need to do to deal with, for example, illegal entries between ports of entry. That is something that we need to tighten up. I will do the work also about ensuring that we pass comprehensive immigration reform in a way that we allow hardworking people who have earned citizenship a path to actually be able to gain citizenship because they have earned it, and that includes everyone from our farm workers to dreamers.
And just to follow up on the
do you sympathise if any voters do feel
Once again?
Do you sympathise with any voters who do feel offended by or insulted by the garbage comments?
I am running for president of the United States. I will be traveling to 3 states today to do what I have been doing throughout, which is talking with the American people about the fact that, first of all, I get it in terms of the concerns they have about challenges like the price of groceries. Second, my highest priority is to address that and to lift them up around their ambitions, their aspirations, and their dreams, which is why I have a very specific and detailed plan about strengthening our economy. Leading economists have reviewed my plan and indicated it will strengthen the economy and that Donald Trump's plan will weaken the economy. So I'm going to be spending full time, as I've been, talking with the American people, whoever they voted for last time. And as I have said and will repeat over and over again, I am sincere in what I mean. When elected President of the United States, I will represent all Americans, including those who don't vote for me, and address their needs and their desires.
Let me tell you about this.
All right, you just heard there from the Vice President of the United States talking about what she hopes and plans to do should she be elected President of the United States. She was asked about the comment that the current President, Joe Biden, made when he appeared to call supporters of Donald Trump garbage. She, again, reiterated that she understands the frustration that people feel, those folks who presumably are leaning towards voting for former President Trump, and that she is intending to unify the country, and that she's sincere in her effort to do so, to bring those who have opposing views to give them a seat at the table. She's traveling to a couple of battleground states today, and in the next couple of days, of course, we'll keep tracking her movements as well as the former president and bring you news as warranted. Meanwhile, be sure to stay with CBS News for all-day coverage on Election Day. We'll have reports from our election headquarters in New York and from our team spread out across the country. And remember, special coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS News 24/7.